Jalen applauded him and gave him a high five, and they high-fived each other. And Jalen said, "You caught your first body."
This was courtroom footage of Tay-K's ex selling him out so she could get a lighter sentence. At the time, everyone became fully aware of the depth of the murder and how cold-blooded it actually was. What we didn't know is that there was actual surveillance footage showing Tay-K tied to these horrific events. We found the footage released during court proceedings, and we're breaking it all down for you. The damning video. The surveillance footage in Tay-K's case is straight fire, but not the good kind. It's the kind that puts him at the scene of the crime, and it's some damning evidence. The footage shows a black car pulling into the Chick-fil-A parking lot, and then things get real. The victim, Mark Anthony Saldivar, is clinging to the hood of the whip, trying to hold on for dear life, but these guys ain't having it. They throw him off, and then it's over. The car speeds off, leaving Saldivar's lifeless body behind. The footage was enhanced by the Regional Organized Crime Organization Center in Nashville, making it crystal clear what went down. The SAPD released it, showing Tay-K driving away from the scene, calm and collected, like nothing had happened. But the footage told a very different story. The jury saw the footage during the trial, and it played a major role in securing Tay-K's conviction. It's a brutal visual account of the events leading up to Saldivar's death, and no defense spin could hide what was caught on tape. The footage stood as some of the most powerful evidence against him, helping the prosecution lock in another heavy sentence. One thing's for sure, none of this might have blown up the way it did if Tay-K hadn't snitched on himself in the first place. Let's rewind to 2017 and see how it all started. While Tay-K's streaming numbers went brazy in 2017, his legal situation was getting equally heavy. The young rapper who flipped his fugitive status into a certified hit now had to face the full weight of the system. No filters, no edits, no redo button. For the families of those caught in his wave of violence, no amount of platinum plaques could bring back what they'd lost. The most serious beef McIntyre had to address stemmed from that July 2016 home invasion in Mansfield that left 21-year-old Ethan Walker dead. Even though McIntyre didn't bust the fatal shot himself, Texas law wasn't trying to hear that. Under the state's legal code, if someone dies during a robbery you participated in, you can catch a murder, a charge just like the trigger man. When the trial jumped off in July 2019, the prosecution laid out their case like a street documentary. They painted McIntyre as an active player in planning and executing the home invasion that resulted in Walker catching a fatal bullet. Evidence showed that the squad, including females Megan Holt and Ariana Barat, had specifically targeted the spot believing it held drugs and cash money, in a move that would prove crucial for the state's case. The judge allowed the race and its music video to be entered as evidence. The prosecution argued that the lyrics and visuals showed McIntyre had zero remorse and was basically flexing on the system. This development highlighted a growing trend where bars get treated like confessions in court, a practice raising serious questions about whether artistic expression should be treated as literal admission. After the conviction came the sentencing phase, where McIntyre faced anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in the pen. The DA's office pushed heavy on the seriousness of the crime and McIntyre's apparent lack of remorse, pointing to how the race basically celebrated his fugitive status. When the sentence dropped, it hit hard. In July 2019, McIntyre caught a 55-year bid for the murder conviction. On top of that, he got 30 years for one count of aggravated robbery and 13 years for each of 2 other robbery counts, all running concurrently with the murder sentence. The court also slapped him with $21,000 in fines. But the Mansfield case was just one piece of McIntyre's legal puzzle. While on the run in 2017, he allegedly caught another body, 23-year-old photographer Mark Anthony Saldivar in San Antonio. This case wouldn't get resolved until years later, but the details that emerged through testimony were mad grimy. According to the state's witnesses, Saldivar's death was particularly cold-blooded. McIntyre allegedly lured dude under the pretense of setting up a photo shoot, then robbed and smoked him in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. The key witness in this case was Joanna Reyes, who claimed to be McIntyre's girl at the time of the incident. In the capital murder trial for Saldivar's death, Reyes broke down what happened before the fatal encounter. According to her testimony, what started as a routine link-up quickly turned violent.
We hit the light at McCullough, and Tamar took out his gun and pointed it at Mark and asked for his bag. Mark refused to give him the bag, so they all started hitting him.
She detailed how the situation escalated after. The most chilling part of her testimony described the aftermath, claiming McIntyre's homie celebrated the killing.
Jalen applauded him and gave him a high five, and they high-fived each other. And Jalen said, "You caught your first body."
McIntyre's defense team went at Reyes's credibility hard, pointing out that she'd been offered a sweet deal in exchange for her testimony, 10 years probation on a reduced charge of tampering with evidence. They suggested this arrangement gave her major motivation to snitch regardless of the facts. Despite initially facing capital murder charges in the Saldivar case, McIntyre curved a plea deal in February 2024, choosing to roll the dice at trial. His legal squad criticized the police investigation, arguing it leaned too heavy on potentially biased witness statements. Nevertheless, in April 2025, McIntyre got convicted of murder, though not capital murder, in the Saldivar case, and the judge hit him with an 80-year sentence. The courtroom was on edge during the reading.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder.
This announcement triggered someone in the courtroom to burst out, leading the judge to check them quick.
No. No, out of the courtroom. Out of the courtroom now.
The judge then clarified that while McIntyre beat the capital murder charge, he still got hit with the regular murder conviction.
So it says, we, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, guilty of the lesser included offense of murder.
Under Texas law, McIntyre will need to serve at least half of his 80-year sentence before even getting a look at parole. As of April 2025, he had credit for 2,077 days, about 5.7 years, of time served. Beyond the murder cases, McIntyre caught additional charges even while locked up. In August 2018, guards found a burner phone hidden in his sock, resulting in a charge for possessing contraband. This violation got him transferred to a max security facility and thrown in the hole, solitary confinement. The sentences handed down to McIntyre's various co-defendants in the Mansfield murder case varied widely. Lotharian Merritt, who actually pulled the trigger on Ethan Walker, got life without parole. Sean Robinson caught a 40-year bid, Jalen Bell got 30 years, Ariana Barat received 25 years, and both Megan Holt and an unnamed minor got. Perhaps the most painful part of the case is that he has such a bright and promising future because of his talent before his pursuit of infamy ruined everything. The rise to infamy. Born June 16, 2000, in Long Beach, California, Tamar McIntyre bounced between Cali and Nevada before his folks posted up in Dallas-Fort Worth when he was about 10. Like countless young bucks with dreams bigger than their circumstances, McIntyre said peace to high school during his freshman year to chase that rap money full-time, a decision that would set the GPS coordinates for his wild ride through fame and infamy. McIntyre's mic journey kicked off when he was just 14, still a straight-up jit by any standard. In 2014, he linked with fellow aspiring spitters Pimp Eyes and Santana Sage to form the Daytona Boys. The crew dropped their first track, Drift, on SoundCloud in December that year, marking McIntyre's first real step into the game. Around this same time, he put out his earliest solo joint, the oddly specific Tuesday 6:17 p.m. 1, I Don't Sell Molly. In those early days, the Daytona Boys were on that grind mentality, hitting up local functions in Arlington, building buzz at the grassroots level, and trying to get their names ringing in the Texas trap scene. But real talk, they weren't exactly blowing up. The streaming numbers weren't hitting, bookings were light, and mainstream success remained as distant as a mirage in the Texas heat. What none of them knew was that McIntyre's ticket to the big leagues wouldn't come through mixtape drops or cypher videos. It would come through a series of increasingly violent plays that would transform him from struggling artist to headline news. The intersection of McIntyre's music ambitions and street activities started showing signs of trouble in early 2016. That January, he was in the cut when one of his homies, Demetrius Johnson, popped a college student named Sarah Muchlechner during a traffic dispute. According to the witnesses on scene, passengers in McIntyre's whip had been harassing Muchlechner with sexual comments before shots rang out. Johnson caught a 44-year bid for the body, while McIntyre walked away without charges. A close call that should have been a wake-up, but instead became just the opening act. 6 months later, in July 2016, McIntyre got involved in some real heavy stuff. At just 16, still a minor by the calendar but moving like a veteran in the streets, he participated in a home invasion in Mansfield, Texas, aimed at scoring drugs and cash. This wasn't some impromptu smash and grab. The lick was orchestrated by McIntyre and several accomplices, including Megan Holt and Ariana Barat, who allegedly set up the entire scenario. What was supposed to be a simple robbery flipped into something much darker. During the home invasion, 21-year-old Ethan Walker caught a fatal bullet, and another man, Zachary Belote, took a non-fatal wound. Though McIntyre wasn't the trigger man, his participation in the deadly home invasion still got him booked on murder charges, a legal principle known on the streets tweets as, "If you're in for a penny, you're in for a body." After getting snatched up for the home invasion, McIntyre was initially charged as a juvenile, a small blessing given the circumstances. The court put him on house arrest with an ankle monitor in January 2017 while they decided whether to try him as an adult. Locked down in his crib, facing serious time, a normal kid might have reflected on life choices or prayed for leniency. McIntyre had different plans. On March 27, 2017, McIntyre made the fateful decision to cut his ankle monitor and ghost from his spot in Arlington. He announced his jailbreak to the Twitterverse with zero chill. This house arrest 12 they gan have two catch me on hood. This brazen middle finger to the system kicked off a 3-month stretch as one of the most recognized fugitives in rap history, and in a twisted irony, launched his career into the stratosphere. Instead of laying low while on the lam, McIntyre allegedly kept that same energy with the criminal activities. April 2017 saw him connected to the murder of 23-year-old photographer Mark Anthony Saldivar in San Antonio. The following month, he allegedly stomped out and robbed 65-year-old Oni Skip Pepe in Arlington, though his defense team later came with an alibi trying to distance him from this particular incident. But here's where the story takes that wild turn that separates Tay-K from just another crime statistic. While ducking the law in Elizabeth, New Jersey, McIntyre hit the booth and laid down a track that spoke directly about his fugitive status. That joint, The Race, would become his breakout banger, with bars that weren't just tough talk but actual documentation of his real-life situation. Beat. I was trying to beat a case, but I ain't beat that case. I did the race. On June 30th, 2017, U.S. Marshals finally caught up with McIntyre in Elizabeth, New Jersey, bringing his 3-month run from the law to an end. In what can only be described as the most savage marketing move in recent rap history, the music video for The Race dropped on YouTube just hours after he got booked. The visuals featured McIntyre flexing with straps next to his own wanted poster, essentially using federal documentation as album artwork. What happened next defied all logic, but perfectly captured the chaos of our social media era. The Race went dummy viral. The track debuted at number 70 on the Billboard Hot 100 and climbed all the way to number 44. The #FreeTake hashtag took over Twitter, creating a digital movement supporting a kid facing multiple body charges. The numbers got serious quick. The song earned RIAA Platinum certification and inspired remix versions from established artists like 21 Savage, Lil Yachty, and Fetty Wap. The video racked up views like a slot machine gone haywire, eventually pushing past 250 million. Insane metrics for an artist who just months earlier couldn't get local play. Industry heads noted that what set The Race apart from your average street anthem was its raw authenticity. As Sean Cotton from Say Cheese TV put it, "It's real, everything he's saying happened." It's like Tay-K was telling us a story. This wasn't studio gangster performance. It was real-time documentation of a crime spree that would later come back to haunt him in court. With McIntyre locked up awaiting trial, his management team moved quick to capitalize on his newfound buzz, dropping his mixtape Santana World in 2017. Despite its creator being behind bars, the project got decent reviews and even charted on Billboard 200. Tracks like I3 My Choppa and Murder She Wrote continued the violent narratives that had become his trademark sound. The financial come up from this unexpected fame hit different. In 2017, McIntyre inked a deal with 88 Classic and RCA Records, reportedly worth between $600,000 and $700,000. Bread most 17-year-olds couldn't even dream about. His guest verse on No Jumper's Hard with Blockboy JB pushed that track to number 14 on Billboard's bubbling under Hot 100. The kid was even shortlisted for XXL's coveted 2018 freshman list, a major cosign in the culture. All this success was happening while homie was sitting in a county jail jumpsuit fighting multiple murder charges. His record deal, streaming numbers, and growing fan base stood in stark contrast to the family's mourning loved ones allegedly lost to his actions. What makes McIntyre's rapid ascent so fascinating and disturbing is that his buzz didn't come despite his criminal charges, but directly because of them. The Race and its visual weren't attempts to create distance from his legal troubles. They were a full-throated celebration of them. In the social media era, where clout can be as valuable as talent, McIntyre's criminal wave became his unique selling proposition. Now, he is paying the price just like other rappers who took the same self-snitching route. Other rappers who snitched on themselves. In the rap game, keeping it 100 is the vibe, but some MCs take it too far, spilling their own dirt in bars that come back to bite them. The streets call it the self-snitching curse, where rappers, often repping the hood, drop lines about their crimes, gang ties, or beef, only to have the feds use it as a playbook to lock them down. With hood slang like slippin', clout, and ops, these artists paint raw pictures that slap for the culture but end up as courtroom evidence. This got Tay-K in trouble, but it's not just him. Dirk Banks, aka Lil Durk, is a Chicago drill drill icon, but his vivid bars tied to his Only the Family OTF crew have caught the feds' radar. Tracks like Third Person and What Happened to Virgil flex his street life, with lines like, "I'm sliding for my brothers, that's a fact, no cap," hinting at retaliatory moves. In 2024, Durk was hit with federal charges in a murder-for-hire case tied to OTF's alleged involvement in the 2020 killing of FBG Duck. Prosecutors pointed to his lyrics and music videos, where he's posted with straps and repping OTF as evidence of gang activity. Social media posts flexing his loyalty to the crew didn't help, giving the feds receipts to build a RICO case. Durk's still fighting the charges, but his storytelling, laced with hood slang like sliding and no cap, shows how keeping it too real can have you slipping in court. Daniel Hernandez is the king of snitching, both on himself and his squad. His 2018 banger Gummo had him flexing ties to the 9 Trey gangsta bloods, spitting bars about gang life and straps while rocking rainbow hair. Lines like, I'm with the shit, scream street cred. But when the feds rolled up, Daniel Hernandez's music and IG posts were a goldmine. He not only self-snitched with his lyrics, but went full rat, testifying against his 9 Trey homies in a 2019 racketeering case. His music videos and loud IG live rants gave prosecutors proof of his gang ties. 6ix99 got a lighter sentence but earned the nickname Snitch 99, getting ghosted by the rap game. His story's a lesson in how clout chasing can leave you exiled from the hood. Jamel Demons, aka YNW Melly, dropped Murder on My Mind in 2017, a track that banged but ended up snitching on him. The song's gritty details about a killing, with lines like, "I didn't even know I hit him, got that in it. Blood on my shirt," raised flags when Melly was charged with the 2018 murders of his homies, YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie. Prosecutors read his lyrics in court, arguing they matched the crime too closely to be just art. Melly's denied the charges, but his vivid bars, paired with forensic evidence, got him facing 2 counts of first-degree murder and a possible death penalty. Fans say the system don't get rap storytelling, but Melly's case proves bars can turn into bars behind bars when you're too raw with the details. Aquila Pollard, known as Bobby Shmurda, had the streets lit with his 2014 hit Hot and the track's Shmoney Dance and lines like "Mitch caught a body about a week ago" had everybody hyped, but NYPD wasn't vibing. Bobby's lyrics and music video, where he and his GS9 crew were posted with straps, put a target on his back. In 2014, he got hit with charges of conspiracy to commit murder, weapons possession, and reckless endangerment, with prosecutors using his music to paint GS9 as a gang. Bobby stayed solid, refusing to snitch on his homies for a lighter deal, and took a 7-year bid. His loyalty kept his street cred intact, but Hot and showed how flexing for clout can have you slipping when the feds are lurking. Marcus Smart, aka Muwop, repping Chicago's O-Block, got hemmed up in the self-snitching game after the 2020 murder of FBG Duck. Muwop didn't spit bars directly, but his Instagram flex was his downfall. He posted custom kicks with a graphic of a camera flashing Daffy Duck and the caption, "I've been the youngest in charge before rap," a slick nod to Duck's murder. Chicago police and the feds already watching O-Block used this post, along with music videos and other social media, to tie Muwop to the crime. In 2021, he was one of 5 O-Block members arrested for Duck's murder. Muwop's case proves that even a low-key IG flex can have the ops in blue suits lurking, ready to lock you down. Boss Top, another O-Block figure, took self-snitching to a reckless level. After FBG Duck's 2020 murder, he didn't just drop hints and bars, he went loud in a public interview in the hood. He insinuated O-Block took out Duck for dissing their fallen homie, Troy, spitting it on camera while flexing for clout. The feds, building a RICO case against O-Block, used this interview, plus music videos and social media, to link him to the murder conspiracy. Boss Top dodged charges, but his loose lips got his crew under heat, showing that talking reckless ain't just bars, it's a federal vibe check. His interview was a wild example of manifesting the self-snitching curse, leaving the streets shook. Davon Bennett, aka King Von, was a Chicago drill legend whose storytelling in tracks like Crazy Story and Took Her to the O painted vivid pictures of his street life. Bars like, "I'm from the O, I'm a killer, no lie, I put that shit on my mama, I slide," were raw and real, but they caught the feds' attention. Von's lyrics, packed with hood slang like sliding for retaliating and ops for enemies, were used to tie him to O-Block's gang activities. After his 2020 death, investigations into O-Block's RICO case leaned on his music and videos to build charges against his homies. While Von never faced trial himself, his music became a blueprint for prosecutors, showing how Drill's journal-like bars can snitch on the whole squad. Shaya bin Abraham Joseph, aka 21 Savage, faced a unique form of self-snitching during his 2019 ICE detention. Early tracks like Skirt Skirt and No Heart reference drug dealing and violence, which authorities used to question his character and visa status. Born in the UK, 21 Savage was detained for overstaying his visa, and his lyrics were scrutinized to paint him as a criminal threat. Social media posts flaunting wealth and gang ties didn't help. Though the case centered on immigration, his music and online presence complicated his defense. Released after public outcry, 21 Savage's experience shows how self-snitching can extend beyond criminal charges to immigration battles. Christopher Phipps, known as Mac Phipps, was convicted of manslaughter in 2001 for a Louisiana nightclub shooting, despite questionable evidence. His lyrics, filled with violent imagery tied to his camouflage assassin's persona, were used to portray him as a cold-blooded killer. Songs like Murder Murder were read in court, with prosecutors arguing they reflected his intent. Phipps's defense claimed the lyrics were fictional, but the jury was swayed by the narrative. He served 21 years before his 2021 release, aided by advocacy from artists like Juvenile. Phipps's case remains a flashpoint in debates over whether rap lyrics should be admissible in court. New Jersey rapper Vontae Skinner faced attempted murder charges in 2008, and his notebook of violent, gang-related lyrics became a prosecutorial weapon. Lines describing shootings and drug deals were read to the jury, with prosecutors arguing they revealed Skinner's mindset and gang ties. Skinner's defense countered that the lyrics were artistic, written years before the crime. In 2014, the New Jersey Supreme Court overturned his conviction, ruling that the lyrics' prejudicial impact outweighed their evidentiary value. Skinner's case set a legal precedent, but his initial conviction showed how easily rappers can self-snitch through creative writing. The self-snitching curse ain't just about rappers being careless. It's where art and the system collide. Hip-hop's built on keeping it real, spitting truths from the hood with slang like lit, ghost, and shiznit to connect with the culture. But when the feds treat lyrics as confessions, it sparks debates about free speech and racial bias. Critics say prosecutors target black rappers, taking their art too literally, while directors like Tarantino get a pass for violent stories. MF Doom's rap snitch niches called it out back in the day, clowning rappers who tell all they business and end up they own star witness. These rappers like Tay-L, Lil Durk, Daniel Hernandez, YNW Melly, Bobby Shmurda, Moo-Wop, Boss Top, and King Von show how the chase for clout and authenticity can backfire. Whether it's bars, IG posts, or interviews, the feds are watching, ready to turn a banger into a life sentence. The takeaway? In the rap game, silence is golden, and flexing too hard might have you slipping into a cell. Thanks for watching. Check out more interesting stories from the boxes on the screen.